Sorry, everybody. We're having some mouse issues to begin the day.
We're having all kinds of technical issues over here.
What is that? It's like some days you come, everything's working, all of the things are fine.
Right.
The very next day, you've got to come. Like we're having mouse surgery over here, and I'm not sure. What is it? What is the culprit, do you think?
I don't know. It decided it doesn't want to cooperate anymore. And it will not move. We have disconnected it, connected it. We've switched. How many mouse pads have we used now?
This is the third.
This is the third mouse pad now. And it kind of wants to work. It works sometimes.
Right.
But who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. But it's working enough to at least start a podcast.
Amen. Amen. And so for those of you who are just joining us right now, listen, we are in for a treat today. We're going to, we have no guests today on the podcast. And so we're just going to invite you to join us and you'll be our guest essentially on this podcast. And so as we're recording, you can come up with questions that we can answer in real time. And I think it's going to be legit.
Yeah, let's go. Well, see, Tina asked a really good question.
Well, I asked the same question. Battery? I asked the same question. And then you said,
it's actually one of those rechargeable ones. And so there's no battery. And then it was like, well, then just unplug it or turn it off and turn it back on. Well, we tried that too. We disconnected it from Bluetooth and connected it. And oh, well, you can't win them all. And it's decided to be finicky today. So,
hey, I got a question for you. Pop quiz.
Yeah, let's go.
How long is a moment?
Minute and a half. I remember this from last week.
Yeah,
yes, that was so good.
I had this random fact last week where we were both kind of blown away that when somebody says, I'll be back in a moment is actually a medieval time for a minute and a half. Random fact, right?
Which I had no idea, but I'll never forget it.
I'm about to drop another bomb on you and everybody else.
I love
ready?
This.
Here's another random fact that I learned this week. Shakespeare invented more than 1,700 words, including assassination, addiction, and gossip.
Get out.
Random facts.
Wow. That's incredible.
Random fact.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's awesome.
Like, I don't know if it's legit. You guys can Google it and find out for yourself, but I'm here for it.
Yes. Hey,
and I love that he came up with those words.
Have you ever invented a word or your kids?
Yes. My boys used to call yogurt yogurt.
Nice.
And my son used to call McDonald's Old McDonald. So not like a ton of inventive words, but what about you?
So my stepkids, Maddox and Marley, way back when we invented a bad word, and our bad word was bish.
Ish. Yeah, well, they say it. Kendrick Lamar says it a lot.
Oh, does he really?
You bish.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were like 4 and 5 at the time, or 4 and 6. And so it was pretty innocent, but it was hilarious. And I can't help but think it's an extension of another bad word, though.
Yeah.
I know. But they wanted to go with it. So that was our bad word. Yes.
So like when you were really angry, you just like, bish.
Bish.
Okay.
Dang it, bish. So
I like it.
It lasted for a couple months.
Right. Well, hey guys, listen, we're gonna get to our podcast today. As I just said a second ago, if you want to interact with us during the podcast, we'll be looking at the comments kind of as we're going through this thing. But you're gonna do a deep dive today on protein. We're gonna talk about supplements. You still haven't received your hot water. I came off a huge hockey tournament weekend. We're gonna play Name That Tune. It's gonna be fun.
Yes, I can't wait. Okay. Let's dive in. You guys ready?
Yeah, I think everybody's ready.
All right.
All right, here we go on our end officially, guys. Give us just 1 second here. This is my very first time doing this ever. Here we go.
I needed that.
There you go. I'm down for that. I think that's cool. Well, Chris's podcast, I Needed That, co-hosted by Matthew Blades, is available on all streaming platforms, everybody.
So this is actually where we get down into some tactical stuff.
I like it.
And here we go.
Solutions and strategies.
That's what this is all about.
Bro,
what?
We just hit 100,000.
We made $100,000?
No, 100,000 downloads.
Again, we were talking with Rachel from season 5 of my show. And
this is a Where Are They Now episode.
It is.
For those of you who don't know me, I walked away from my radio show with a year left on my contract.
Who's whistling right now?
I think this is episode 38, Chris Powell.
Wow. 38 episodes in.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for over a year.
Isn't that nuts to think about?
Yeah, it is.
Incredible.
It's
Tina,
awesome.
Andrea, we got everybody sharing, watching alongside us on our Facebook Live. We've decided to record this episode with a few of our friends today. So if you're following the I Needed That YouTube channel, you will never miss a thing. That's where all of our streaming goes. It's where all of the video clips that we cut up to promote the show live. So I encourage everybody to check out the I Needed That podcast YouTube feed so you don't miss anything. How are you today, Paul?
I'm good. On YouTube, you can also see the secret looks that we give each other.
Yeah.
During the show.
We're good, right?
Yes. Or the stink eye. We'll give it to the kids over in the corner when they're making too much noise.
I don't hear the kids a ton, and now they're back to school, so that makes life a bit easier.
Yeah, a lot easier.
Is it stressful for you when they're here and we're here doing this?
100%. I feel more bad for you.
Why?
But the thing is, you know what it's like. You're a dad, but at the same time, it's like I'm trying to keep a professional environment within about a 10-foot radius, and so they always get a talk before you show up. You know, it's
Walk
like,
me through the talk. How does that go? Like, are we in the kitchen? Where are we on the couch?
They're on the couch. I walk out and I say, "Hey guys, Matthew's going to be here in about 15 minutes. You guys know I'm giving it to you exactly how it is. Okay, I am in character. All right, guys, Matthew's going to be here in 15 minutes. You know the rules. I don't want to hear a sound. Okay, whatever you need to do, you take your book in there. You take your iPad in there. You do this. You know, whatever that might." Whatever it could possibly be. I say, guys, this is a really big deal. You know how important this is. Not a sound. Do you understand? And I get an affirmative. Yes. They must. It's like I'm on an airplane. You know when they say you're sitting in an exit row. Do you understand? Did you read the manual? And can you help in a case of emergency? I need a verbal yes. I love it. I get a verbal yes from both of them before we move on. That's how it goes.
And then is there a post talk if they don't necessarily follow through?
Yes, but for what it's worth, they've only not followed through a couple times. Right. For the most part, they're pretty good. And I'm always sure when we have a really good show and they're quiet, I would say, guys, that was amazing. Great job. I really, really appreciate everything you guys have done. I know it's not easy.
It's so hard.
Especially I know you guys want to talk and you want to laugh and you want to have fun. But
we're in their house.
I know. And they're so good about it. So yes, no, that I am always sure to show appreciation and give them lots of kudos. Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's too busy. He's so busy doing that. He couldn't even charge up the mouse today. So I want to say to everybody watching or listening to us, we're going to do our best to put some of your comments up and read some of your questions. But the mouse is making it challenging. Oh, look at now it's working like a charm.
Of course it is.
Now it's working like a charm. Stacy says, "Hey guys, so first day of school in our town. Got out the sneaks and the leash and got the steps in. So did the doggy. Nice. Do you have any new routines when your kiddos go on the bus?"
Oh, when they get on the any like new routine?
Now she's got some free time back.
That's amazing. First of all,
I get it.
Good on you for getting out there and taking care of yourself. I know it's the whole concept. Back to school, back to you. Right. So it's like, boy, the kids get out of the house. You got 6 or 7 hours, and granted, depending on your workload, but you got some time to focus on you. And I just love the fact that you did that. Keep that going. Whatever that routine is, start small though. You don't have to jump in too hard, too heavy. Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, you can't go wrong putting in those steps and your dog's going to love you for it. Here's the catch though. Your dog's going to get used to that. And no one can keep time better than a dog. It's going to be the same time every day. Your dog's going to start getting all fired up. And you know why? So
it's time for a walk.
Yes.
And I know he's telling the truth because I got a little dog at home named Millie, and Millie is timed. If it is like 6:45 in the morning, she is like, "Why have we not already been outside for 15 minutes?"
Right. How do they do that? It's almost like they have a little timer in their head and they know when it's 7:45 in the morning and it is go time. And that they're quiet until then. And the moment 7:45 comes around, all of a sudden there's just like this little bundle of energy.
Yeah.
And they're sure to remind you.
It probably is a little bit of that wiring.
Yeah.
And then it's also like that's their fun time. They get to go outside and walk and smell everybody's pee. And if they're anything like my dogs, they do. By the way, I need to get real with you about your dogs.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Well, because for those of you who listen to the podcast and like when I first started coming over here, the dogs, you have 2 very large dogs.
Yes. They're pit bull mastiffs.
They're massive.
Yeah.
And they are so sweet. And I just wanted to be their friend so badly, but which which one? I always get them confused.
Max. Stella's a sweet one. Max he's the one with anxiety. He does not like men.
Max is the one who struggles. He's the brown color.
Yes.
Okay. But over time, I worked with these dogs in a real way. I earned their trust. And now when I come over here, they get so freaking excited when they see me.
They love you.
and I love them. They're such great dogs.
They are.
But I went over and I pet them today, and when is the last time they've been brushed?
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you, man, I came on and I'm only saying this to you because I had the same problem with my dog. I brushed it the other day and I was like, bro, you've got to do a better job here.
Here's the difficult thing about my dogs.
Okay.
No matter how much I brush them,
yeah,
the hair just keeps coming off.
Oh, is that the Mastiff?
I don't know. It's got to be, but they shed more than any dog I've ever owned in my life.
Do you bathe them regularly?
So I'm getting to this. They were actually just washed on Friday for the first time in a long time. And it was Cash that actually stepped up and is like, we have to wash these dogs. Here's the thing. At the moment,
Do they like it?
No, they hate it. So that's the thing. They hate the water. So the moment the hose comes out, they start freaking out. It's a very difficult process. And so I reached a point when it was just like, okay, I kind of kicked the can down the road for a long time. And then I figured they're going to reach a point of like max dirtiness if they just go long enough without them being washed. I called multiple groomers. And here's the thing. They don't travel well either because Max has got that anxiety. So I'd have to sedate him to get him anywhere. But on top of that, every groomer I called, they're booked 3-4 months out.
Oh, man.
It's insane. And so I kept thinking, I'm going to bathe them at home.
Max, he's so sweet.
It just never happened. And so then I realized, okay, well, every time that I bathe them, they have full access to the backyard anyway. And they go out there and they roll around and they get crazy dirty. I figured they're just going to reach a point of max dirtiness.
Yeah.
And they can't get any dirtier than that.
And the microbiomes just kind of keep cleaning themselves. And
that's
all the
exactly
like
it. And so they reached that point of max dirtiness. And they just stayed there for a while, and they loved it because they never got to see the hose.
Let's be honest. What are dogs in the wild doing? Coyotes, wolves, every now and again they jump in a lake and a stream and they get a little rinse, and that's the end of it.
That's it. Or they're out under a rainstorm or something. Which our dogs, they do stay out in the rain sometimes, but they've got a great dog door. They've got access in and out. They use it all day long. So anyway, Cash decided to wash them over the weekend.
How'd that go?
It was a challenge. It was.
Is it like, do you hold the dogs and put the shampoo on them and he holds the hose? And
well, what we had to do, because they'll run away.
They
are the best dogs. They'll come to us all the time. The moment you pull the hose out and they think they're going to go to get a bath, they will run and hide and you cannot get them. So we actually we have a little dog gate. So we just put the dog, we carried it out in the backyard. We put the dog gate around them so they can't go anywhere. And then you pull the hose out and you just watch their tail immediately go between their legs and their head drops. And it's like, Max, this is not going to be that bad. I promise you. So Cash went out there and did it. It was amazing. And I stood out there with him, calmed Max down and it's actually Stella that hates the water even more than Max.
Really?
Who's the sweet one. She's the calmest one, but she absolutely hates it.
Speaking of water, did you ever get your hot water back?
No, it's on the list.
Wait, what?
And my kids are
supposed to come last Thursday.
I know. My kids are so upset with me for it, guys. I've got so much going on. I told you I went to my therapist for overwhelm.
No,
right?
I know you did, but I thought they were coming last Thursday.
Yeah, they were supposed to, and they never showed up.
Oh,
so I called them on Friday, and they said, "Hey, you have to." And then I get a recording that said, "We're open Monday through Thursday from 7 to 5." And so they're not even open Friday. So then we went over the weekend. So yes, the kids are not happy with me because we still don't have hot water. So it's on my list. I still haven't called them.
I just feel bad for you. Like you haven't been able to take you don't really take hot showers anyway.
That's fine. I'm fine with it. And again, it's not that bad. It's not like Wisconsin in the winter.
That's true.
So yeah, we're fine. It's 109 degrees outside. So cool shower is not.
That's the other
awful.
thing. It just will not cool off here. Like it will not cool. And I think it's almost gotten hotter than this last week. It feels like.
Yeah, it's more humid. So
is that what it is?
Any of you in Arizona, you guys know exactly what we're talking about right now. It's
murder.
It's not just hot, which is, it's 109, 110 degrees, but it's humid now. Mm-hmm. So we had a terrible July, but it was hot and dry. Now it's hot and humid.
Yeah.
So it
sucks, man.
It's kind of like.
And early, you feel it early. It feels steamy in the morning, right?
Oh,
when I get up to walk Millie at like 6:45, 7 o'clock, there's a cutoff there. If it's after 7:30, the heat feels so different.
Yeah. Have you spent much time outside in the last few days?
Yeah.
Have you? Doing what?
Well, what did we do? We did some yard work the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick and I really got after our backyard in a big way. And then because I'm from the Midwest, for those of you who don't know me, and everybody in the Midwest takes care of their own lawn. But when you move to Arizona, nobody takes care of their own lawn. It's very strange. You have somebody who comes and does your yard, right?
No, fortunately, we're desert
You do it.
landscaping. Yeah, I do my own.
So you trim all your stuff and you blow it and all the things?
I do.
Oh
I do.
my God,
I actually
so
do.
impressed by you right now.
But I'm the only person on the block.
But I do too. So we
Yeah.
take care of our own yard too. At any rate, we were out there and it was like we had to finish and wrap up by 9 o'clock in the morning. We jumped right in the pool.
Oh yeah. Well, did you have to prepare for it? Like, for those of you who don't live in extreme heat, did you have to like focus on not hyperhydrating, but really like pushing a lot of water, getting some electrolytes in before you go out there? You have to think about all that stuff.
It's true. We didn't do as good a job with the but we definitely drink a lot of water while we're out there.
Good. You have to.
Yeah, it's just it's so hot.
And the thing is, the moment you're thirsty or the moment your mouth feels dry, it's too late.
Really?
Yeah, that's
we could do a deep dive on hydration.
We should.
Today we're going to do a deep dive on protein, which we're going to get to in just a couple of minutes, along with Name That Tune. I just came off a hockey tournament this weekend, and then I want to talk to you about these supplements I've been taking, because I'm sure you get the question of supplements a lot, right? Because I have a doctor friend of mine who calls them expensive urine.
Yeah, well, we've heard him called that. For sure, for quite some time.
I always quip back to him. I say, listen, I'm sure some of it's garbage, but I'm sure there's some really good stuff out there too that helps people.
Absolutely.
And I started on this nootropics. Do you know much about this whole world?
Yes.
I would love to know what you know. But
yeah,
I saw an Instagram ad for this Thesis company.
Yes.
They've got all these different blends. You kind of go and you take their quiz, their test. They send you 4 blends. I'm on the creativity blend this week.
Right.
But I was saying to you before we started, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm feeling it.
Now, what is it that you're not feeling? Because here's the thing: a lot of these nootropics, they're also called.
That's how you say it.
I've heard it said many different ways, like nootropics, nootropics.
I don't even know how to say what I'm taking.
I say it really fast. Just be like nootropics. And then it kind of covers all of it. Yes. They're considered smart drugs, right? So they're supplements that are supposed to increase your mental clarity,
for sure,
your focus, your ability to think, and cognition,
energy.
etc. And so a lot of times you're going to get combinations of, and I've talked about these two a lot, caffeine and theanine.
They're both in there.
Caffeine's going to be the booster. Theanine takes down the jitters, right? It takes the edge off. Then you're going to see other things in there. And theanine is also a nootropic, though. It's also supposed to help with mental clarity, but also you're going to see like choline, different, you'll definitely see different variations of choline, like choline bitartrate, citicholine. You'll see a handful of other ingredients in there. And then here's the thing. Most people, when they start a nootropic, they definitely feel the caffeine, right?
Well, and that's kind of what I'm thinking, Chris. I'm going, maybe I'm just feeling the caffeine part right now.
Right. And it's very possible. And you're feeling the caffeine in that specific formula. However, and here's the catch on nootropics and a lot of the different supplements that are the ingredients that are utilized.
Happy I know I'm saying it the right way now.
Just say it again.
Thank you.
Say it fast.
Yeah, nootropics.
Yeah, there you go.
Long O.
Nootropics. And it's spelled nootropics.
Yeah. I even wrote it correctly and I still said nootropics.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. It still works though. So here's the thing. A lot of those ingredients, there's anecdotal evidence where it's like you can take it and be like, oh yeah, I felt good. But at the same time, there's not a whole lot of actual like double-blind placebo-controlled studies done, like short-term, long-term on these supplements. And there might be a few of them out there, but that's what you really want to look for in supplements that they're gonna withstand the test of time. Are supplements that have been just highly tested over and over and over. And you'll see supplements come and go in the industry. You'll see linoleic acid, you're going to see creatine, you're going to see all different kinds of caffeine. You're going to see a lot of the stuff that kind of comes and goes fast in like the bodybuilding world, because like all of a sudden it'll hit the shelves and then it's illegal in a month, because they realize that, it'll send your blood pressure through the roof or something like that. So, but yeah, that's the thing. And these nootropics, though, they're so popular because especially nowadays, We all feel the demand. We spend a lot of time in front of these computers, and you feel this demand to have energy and clarity and focus. So it's like, what's going to work for me? And I don't mean to be taking over this conversation because this is your experience.
This is why I brought it up. I wanted to hear what you had to say about it.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there could be a lot to them, because here's the thing: I've taken them, and all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, there's energy, it's mental clarity and focus. But here's I really do believe, and this is just going to be in my opinion until we can see multiple studies done on some of these ingredients, and maybe even a meta-analysis, which is going to be a combination of multiple studies that are pulled into one big meta-analysis where they actually they decipher the common denominator like across a lot of these different ingredients. But caffeine delivers so much of what you're looking for in nootropics. It's going to give you the energy, the mental clarity, the focus. It'll increase cognition. It does a lot of those. It is the dominant driver behind most of these supplements.
Interesting.
It really is. And the other ones are just,
and I did start taking it because I wanted to stop drinking coffee.
Right. And did it work?
Well, yeah, but I honestly miss the taste of coffee so much right now.
Here. Have some cold brew. I got it at Costco, Kirkland.
Do you drink this a lot?
No, but here's what I do.
When did you start drinking this? I've never seen you have this.
I throw it in my mix because the delivery of caffeine that I get from, yes, of course. I hate the taste of coffee. It tastes terrible. But let me tell you.
I love coffee.
Oh, man.
Did I backwash?
No, I'm not a germ guy. We're good.
Really?
Hygiene hypothesis, right? So
how many of you guys would share a can with your friend? How many? All right, so back to the caffeine.
Yeah, and so it delivers so much of what you're looking for. But here's the thing: is some of those other ingredients are they're like the bells and whistles on it, and they can finesse that caffeine just enough to make it a really beautiful experience.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. I think it's probably the safest way to talk about this.
I think I just need to give it a little bit of a chance. Sure. I'm going to give it 90 days and kind of see how I'm feeling. There's a couple of other blends within their proprietary thing that I'm going to give a shot to. And I think you remember the very first week that I took it. I was here because I took it like 30 minutes before our podcast.
Yeah.
And I even commented to you after. I was like, whoa.
Yes.
I was sharp. I was on it.
Are you still feeling that?
Today, I'm on a new blend, and I think the first couple of days I take the new blend, I do notice it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it goes back to, and I've talked about this a lot, which is why this is the only reason why I even brought coffee back into my mix, is because your body gets adjusted to whatever formula, whatever blend that you've been consuming your caffeine with. And the moment you change that blend, whether it's from an energy drink or a powder or coffee or your new formula, you're feeling it. It's because it all changed up.
Andrea's got a question that I've always wanted to ask you. And I see this all the time too, Andrea. People are drinking that mud water. You see this online? Have you ever looked into it?
Yes. So I am familiar with mud water. I'm not extremely familiar with all the ingredients. I do know lion's mane mushroom is also, that's an ingredient we see in a lot of nootropics. Lion's mane. Yes. And I've taken it.
I'm going to Google it.
And by the way, I don't know any of the peer review studies that have been published on that. We can pull them up, but I could tell you just from my own personal experience, I felt a difference when I took lion's mane mushroom. I think there is so much power in mushrooms. I mean, and this could be a whole discussion unto itself.
Yeah. It's got chaga in it. It's got reishi in it.
Oh, yes, reishi.
Cordyceps.
Yes, cordyceps. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it's got cacao, which is a really a good stimulant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe
turmeric,
that there is so much to be explored in the world of mushrooms and in many of the different medicines that they can offer us. And yeah, we could even talk about psilocybin and psilocin and everything.
It's part of the conversation.
100%. And it's been, I've only experienced that once in my life, and it was about 20 years ago.
See, I was dumb and did it when I was young too.
But I know it's been used in so many therapeutic settings ever since, and it's changing a lot of lives for a good reason. Now I think there's a lot more research that needs to be done, but boy, mushrooms are super powerful.
Well, and like I always say to everybody, because I'm an advocate for plant medicines and some of these psychedelics that people are finding success with their PTSD, especially as it relates to veterans. And I say, listen, this doesn't have to be for everybody. It can just be for the right people. And for the person that it is for, it changes everything about them. I mean, we'll bring him on the show one time and talk to my buddy Chad from Mental Joe. He has this whole apparel line. We've talked about it before, where he basically, this is what he does. He sells his really kick-ass apparel, and then he uses that money to get vets who need to receive some sort of secondary treatment for their PTSD and whatnot. And one of the modalities is the different plant medicines, but he's a ketamine guy. So he doesn't even take a plant medicine. It's ketamine, right. But he microdoses it at such a level that he was able to do it, I think 6 or 8 times in a year. And then now he's at a place where he goes almost 9, 10, 11 months.
Wow.
Between getting a ketamine infusion.
Wow.
And his wife will tell you that, you know, he's a different person. He'll tell you he's a different person. His kids will tell you he's a different person. So like I said, like for the people it's for, it's awesome.
Yes.
But it's not for everybody.
Yeah. I think I would love to bring someone onto this podcast so we can speak to specifically about plant-based medicine and also mushroom-based medicines.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole new world out there that we're really starting to just tap into. I mean, there's been some huge proponents for years, but it's awesome that we're really going there now because like you, I got a lot of friends that are veterans who came from, and they experienced some very traumatic things, and plant-based medicines, it's changed their lives for the better.
Yeah.
Like they are.
Well, and all my hippie friends in Sedona, they're all over the mushrooms too. Like not just to get high, like they literally drink them. They do the thing in the jars with, you know.
That was the only time in my life that I've ever done mushrooms.
Oh, really?
In Sedona.
Was it? It's a good place to do it.
20 years ago. It was an incredible experience. It was a magical experience. Yes.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I was on a nature hike. And
oh my lordness.
Can I tell you a little story?
Yeah.
So
you're live here. Share away, everybody.
So me and my friends, you know, one of them, they got the mushrooms and some chocolates. We took some chocolate. We're like, let's just go on a nature hike. And so we're hiking along, and
it's actually a solid combo.
Yeah, it was really something. And so we're hiking along, and it was like, you guys feel anything? No. Hiking along. You guys feel anything? No. And I kept turning around, and there's 4 of us. And then all of a sudden it was just like, and then I go, hey, you guys feeling anything? And like literally everyone had stopped. And like one of my friends literally had his hands inside of like a bush. And the other one was like sitting there on the ground. And he was like, just like with his feet, playing in the dirt. It was like,
yeah, I guess it's kicked in.
Oh my! And I look over, and it was just like I just felt like one with everything.
Everything.
It was the most beautiful experience.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Again, it's not for everybody, and so
yeah, but for the people it is for, then 100%.
Yes.
Really quick, I want to talk about something Stacy has just said in the comments. It's a little lengthy, but I'll paraphrase. But she just says, "Man, I want to thank you, Chris, because you've been so open. She's now actually taking the time to improve her mental health and." She's figuring out those triggers. And, you know, she says as a celebrity, you know, a lot of times you don't see that side of people. And she appreciates the fact that you come forth, talked about it. It's given her permission to do the same thing. And so first and foremost, Stacy, kick ass.
Yeah,
good luck on your journey for sure.
I'm so proud of you. Good for you. And just keep discovering yourself, keep exploring. There's so much more that's going to come up. And I'm so happy that I think I read in there also that she started to identify that trigger. Yeah. Which is so powerful in your healing journey. I couldn't be happier for you right now. So just keep it going. That's the biggest thing. And honestly, and you know how this is. Every time you talk to your therapist, I went to my therapist for overwhelm the other day.
Yeah.
And then I discovered and we talked about this on the podcast. We talked as I went to her for one thing, and as I'm talking through it, and we've mentioned this before, it's like you have the answers within you. Yeah. You just they ask all the right questions to bring it out. And then I realized the whole thing turned into the trauma that I experienced when I lost everything and I was living out of my car. And I was like, wow, how that has now played such a major role and impacted me, not in a good way. It's cost me a lot when I work on these big projects before I'm about to roll them out. But again, I know that now. That was my trigger. So Stacy, I'm so excited that you found yours, because now that you can explore a whole new area there, and it's just gonna it will free you. So I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You know how I feel about it. And, it's like, we all have to deal with your stuff until you deal with it. That's the truth for everybody. And so like it's so awesome to see Stacy doing the work, right? Because everybody around her now is going to get the best version of her.
Bingo.
That's what we need to work on.
Yeah. It's because it's so easy also. It's so easy to put all of your energy on everyone else around you, everyone else that you love. But you're like, when you focus on yourself, you said it, that's when you can show up as the best you for them. So if you really, truly care about them, work on yourself.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, I spent the weekend at the hockey rink, Chris. We're going to have to get you guys out to a game for sure.
I would love that. I got to see your boys play.
Yes.
I know they're good.
Well, you know what? We got a good team. We're going to be, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a high school hockey coach here in Arizona. And the first thing I always get is there's hockey in Arizona. Yeah. There's some good hockey in Arizona, as a matter of fact.
Right? Yes, you wouldn't think it, but there's a lot of rinks around.
There's a lot of rinks, and there's been a handful of people, the Matthew Kachucks, the Austin Matthews, who have come out of Arizona recently, who are superstars in the NHL.
Shane Dones.
The Shane Doan. Well, he's a Canadian who moved here, but he was here for a long time.
Right.
But we spent the whole weekend in the rink. But you haven't lived until you've spent about 15 hours straight with teenage boys. That's it,
dude. Well, when I talked to you yesterday, it was 11 o'clock in the morning, and you were heading to the rink. You're going to get there at noon, and you're going to be there till 8.
My voice is still like, I feel like this morning because I try not to be, but inevitably you're louder.
Oh yeah,
you're trying to be heard.
Sure. Well, and it's not like you're sitting back and you're like working on your laptop. Right. You're coaching these boys, right? Like you're in it for 8 hours.
You're just trying to get it right for them. That's what it is. You're just trying to get it right for them and figure out the best combinations. Cause so it was like a big seeding tournament for us is what they call it. And so it's a chance to kind of see where does everybody land.
How'd you guys do?
Oh, we 50-50. We went 500 for the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it. I told the guys, I said, I think this is actually the best case scenario in a seeding tournament. It shows you what you're good at and it shows you where you need to work.
You win or you learn, right?
Yeah, that's it. Wins and learns, right? So we had a really good weekend, and I love the kids, man. They're just I feel so lucky, and I really do, because I coached so many of these kids when they were 5 and 6 years old.
Oh wow! So they've been together for a long time,
and now like it's come full circle, and now it's back around, and now I'm their high school hockey coach, and a couple of them are seniors and going to graduate, dude. It's just cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So fun.
So here's the real question: how are the parents?
I really like most of the parents on the squad. You always have a couple. And I think the biggest thing is just that parents aren't afraid to be advocates for their children.
Sure.
And sometimes it's a little quick. Sometimes they're a little quick to it. But by and large, I think most parents put their kids in youth sports because they're looking for that element. Mm-hmm. They're looking for the discipline and the structure, and no, this is how it works, and this is what teamwork is, and this is how you find your role in a place. And I don't know. Do you guys think that's crazy of me to say? But I feel like that's why a lot of parents put their kids into sports and extracurriculars.
Yeah. Well, and also you're dealing with parents that are going to be much more involved with your kids. I think it's. And I know sometimes, and we've all seen the videos of those insane parents that are just go absolutely bananas.
Right.
But then on the other end of the spectrum are the parents that just don't give a crap. It's like, I don't know, what's
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. I guess that's it. Yeah. It's like parents that just aren't around.
Yeah, it is tough, man. Especially when you see kids nonstop, you're like, man, their mom and dad is never at the game. Yeah. And you're always sure there's something going on. And so I'm not like being judgy right now. I mean, I'm sure that there's some situation that prevents them from being at the games, but you always wonder, like, do the kids really care if we're there? Do they really want us there? And I wonder at what age that starts too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think Ruby and Cash still want you around when they're doing like jujitsu and they're all their stuff?
I know they do because half the time, either when they're rolling or they're doing like something in gymnastics, or like when Ruby's doing her gymnastics, she's always looking out the window to see if I'm watching. And in full transparency, like when they've been in jujitsu, a lot of times, and I feel terrible about this, but a lot of times I'm in my car I step out to the car and I'm working on my laptop, and I feel, trust me, I think about this, and it weighs on me. And I would bring my laptop in, but the thing is, these other parents start asking me questions, and I love answering questions. But that's also, it's go time. It's like I do my Q&A every day because I love doing it. I love helping people, and I don't mind, but at the same time, it gives me so much anxiety because when I spend that hour of work time answering questions, then when I get home, I can't give that time to my kids because now I got to go do an hour of work. So I'm like, I'd much rather they just get that done. I'm sitting right outside. I'm like, I'm there. But at the same time, it's like, man, I beat myself up a little about that because when I'm in there, they're always watching to see if I'm watching. And it's like, oh man.
Cash too, or mostly Ruby?
Both.
Yeah.
But Cash is he's quickly reaching that age there where he's like, I got it, Dad. I got it. We're good. Thanks.
So, one of the conversations that I had with my kids, and they were probably about right kind of in that range, maybe 10, 11, 12. Was this idea of, I'm going to stop coming to all your practices, guys, because we're going to turn a switch here where this is your love. This is the thing you love to do.
Yeah.
And you can't just love it because I'm there watching you. Like, I want you to love this thing. And so when I'm going to take you to practice now, that's your hour. That's your hour to be you, to do what you want to do, to be with your friends and your coaches and learn new things.
Yeah.
And I'll be back when it's done. And, I still went to the occasional practices, but by and large, I'm not at a single practice that
really.
Well, I mean, only the ones that I'm coaching at.
How'd that go? Like, did you notice any difference in the boys?
Yeah, I think they were kind of ready for it.
Yeah.
And even to this day, like if I can't make a basketball game, I'll ask Truman or Gordy, is like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make the game today. You all right with that? And they're like, yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine.
What age did that start to happen?
Kind of around 11, 12.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
13.
All right. I'm quickly approaching.
You're right there.
I well, it's funny. Also, you said before this podcast, you said that, working with all these teenage boys is just,
it's something, man.
It is.
You know what it is? It's an exercise in control.
Enlighten me. I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there who've got teenage boys. I'm quickly approaching those years. Enlighten me. What do I have to look forward to?
You just have to literally let go of the control.
So,
I think that's what we all get. I don't know. You guys tell me if you have teenage kids, like you have to let go of what your idea of them is going to be.
Okay. I was going to say, how much control do you let go of before? Because I am sure they can quickly get off track.
So like in the locker room kind of a situation, right? Some coaches are like, no loud music. And I think, why not? Like, let them blast some music. As long as it isn't super profane and nasty and nobody can hear it.
Right.
Like, give them that.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to probably want something else later, right?
Yeah. Do you let them blast music at home?
At home?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Okay.
When my kids take showers, they turn it up so loud.
Really?
Yeah, it's really strange.
And you and Nick are okay with it?
Sometimes. Sometimes I'm on a call or we're watching TV and I have to have them turn it down.
Sure.
But other times I'm like, it's their house too.
Yeah.
Like, let them jam out a little bit. If they want to dance in the shower, let them dance in the shower. I don't know.
Okay.
But I think that's what it is. Yeah. Colleen says they got to spread their wings a bit. And that's what we have to let go of is the control piece.
Yeah.
Like I said to you earlier, man, it's like, you can corral them and you can guide them, but everybody's going to go through the gate differently.
Yeah, it's true.
Were
you like a helicopter parent when they were younger though? Very protective?
I would say I wasn't very protective. I'm like always, I shouldn't say the one, but one compliment that I always give my mom was that she let us fall. So when we also grew up in that era where everybody fell, but you know what I mean? Like, but she was good at that idea of like, let them fall.
Yeah,
it's okay. And I really, I think I've made a concerted effort to let my kids fall too. I'm involved. I wouldn't declare a helicopter.
Okay.
You?
I was big time helicopter parent.
Really?
Yeah. Super overprotective.
What years? Like when you were married?
Up until about an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
It's a current situation for you.
I've gotten so much better probably over the last year. Actually, believe it or not,
still young, Chris.
Believe it or not, since Heidi and I since we separated, and we were doing the co-parent thing, but just being here with my kids and being a lot more open about just letting him go to a friend's house. Granted, I need to know the parents really well. You know, that's huge. You know, I let Cash ride his bike to the grocery store the other day.
Oh, good.
You know, with his buddy. There was actually 2 of them.
Oh, the one right up here?
Yeah, and guess what happened when they got there?
What?
Their bikes got stolen.
Stop it.
So I'm like, okay, we're done. I swear.
Are you kidding me?
No, I know.
Did they lock them?
Yeah, and they pulled up the video cameras, and there was 2 grown men watching them while
Are
they rode
you
up to the grocery
kidding
store.
me?
The kids, 3 kids walked in there, and these guys came up and stole their bikes.
So I'm guessing there's like video footage of it.
Yeah. So the cops came and everything.
Oh,
So I'm like, okay.
man.
So it did not help the helicopter parent within me because I was there when Cash called me. I was there within about 45 seconds.
I'm sure you were.
I was flying out. I broke the law getting to that grocery store.
Well, it's down the
But
street.
it
Honestly,
is.
This is a street you could probably speed on. So,
Right. I've gotten away with it once or twice.
right?
But yeah, of all things. So now like the helicopter parent came out again. He asked me actually just the other day if he could ride to the grocery store. I was like, sorry, dude, not this time. I got to get comfortable again. But at the same time, there's some sketchy characters around.
Yeah, but that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sorry to steal from children.
Yeah. And his very first time, riding to the store by himself, like not by himself, but with his buddies.
Who does
It was
that?
it was a big adventure, and sure enough. So anyway, I'm still struggling with the helicopter thing, but I'm getting better.
Your kids are young too. They
Yeah.
still need more guidance than mine do. You know, I
Absolutely.
have a junior in high school and a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
It's a different experience. When
Yeah.
they were 9, I was doing very different stuff, and I was probably doing the same stuff you were.
Well, and both of your boys, they look like men. They're like 6'5".
I know,
and
they're
they
giants.
can take care of themselves.
And they just are great kids.
yeah,
Really,
they are.
man.
they are.
It's just awesome.
Yeah.
So lucky. All right, let's play Name That Tune, and then we're going to get to the deep dive on protein today. I want to get you guys out of here in the next 15 minutes while you connect to Bluetooth. I want to remind everybody in the show notes every single week, we have links to BetterHelp and to NeuroGum and Mints. These are a couple of sponsors that have been with us since the very beginning of time. And if you would be so kind as to support them directly through that link, not only will you save a little bit of money, honey, but it lets them know that you came from our platform, and then we can grow the partnership. That's the goal.
Let's go.
So are you connected?
I'm connected. You ready?
I'm only going to need 2 seconds. Okay.
Okay. Now here, so this is gonna be an oldie. All right.
Oh,
We
man.
might have to take this. I can't remember if this is late 70s or early 80s, but let's see what you got. Ready?
Okay, here we go. Okay, stop.
Wow, really?
Yeah. That is I'm sailing away.
yes.
Sailing?
Yes.
I don't know who sings that though. Who sings that? Is that help me out here, guys.
Okay,
yeah,
here-
Lady is the song, isn't it?
No,
No, it's not
You're-
Lady. It's
the
Sailing.
song is Come Sail Away.
Come sail away by
Who is it?
oh man. Come sail away by is it like it's not
Yep,
Queen?
Teresa's got it.
It is Sticks.
There it is. Sticks. Yes.
Brilliant
Good job, Teresa.
I got to tell you that I know exactly one song from Styx, and that's it.
That's it, dude. That's it.
That is the only one I know.
So Apple released a new feature.
What is
that
this?
It reads your playlist and then it suggests songs for you. So that song was suggested for me, and I immediately added it to my playlist. I was like, oh, I haven't heard that song forever. Like, whatever happened to it? And now here's the thing, and tell me, am I going crazy?
Okay.
Because every night that song runs through my head over and over.
Oh, is
and
this the
over.
song you got stuck in your head?
Yes. And so for the last 4 freaking nights,
They call it an earworm.
from like 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. You're
It's just
sailing
like,
away.
I'm sailing away. And when I'm sleeping, but I'm not sleeping because that song is running through my head. Am I going crazy, or does this happen to does this happen to anybody who's
All the
listening right
time they
now?
have a term for it. It's called an earworm song.
Earworm.
Where you just it gets stuck. Yeah, I think I'm almost
What
positive.
the heck? And I literally went through a whole thing where you're supposed to, like, I guess in order to remove it from your head, you have to identify it, acknowledge it, put it in a box, and put it aside, like put it away.
What does it say? Right there.
An earworm. Here we go. Also known as sticky music or stuck song syndrome, is a catchy, memorable piece of music or saying that continuously occupies a person's mind.
That's what you have. You got an earworm.
For 4 days. For 4 days. And that's why I was like, I'm hoping maybe if I just bring it out and I give it to you now. So that's your earworm. I'm trying to unload it because I don't want it playing in my head anymore from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm so sick of it.
All right, here's your song. Let's go.
Let's
Let me give you a new song to have. Let me give you a new earworm song.
All right, let's go.
All right, name that tune, Chris Powell.
Oh, I wish it was. Oh, really? Thanks, dude.
What?
It starts off. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. How's it go? I would call. I wish I had a girl who did. I would call her. It's I know the song.
You do know the song.
I'm gonna say I wish.
Yes.
I wish.
Yes.
Oh man, I don't know the.
You don't?
No.
Skilo.
That's it. Yes. Girl who look good, I will call her.
I love this song.
6'4" Impala.
This was one of those great one-hit wonders.
Yes.
Great song.
I love how he put an R on the back of 6'4" Impala.
Oh yeah, Impala.
Impala, exactly.
Well, listen, man, we got a deep dive today, and it's all going to be surrounding the one word protein. So I'm not exactly sure what you intend to kind of get to, but I'm excited about it.
Well, I want to take a step back because it's really easy, especially being in the fitness industry, to just kind of dive into macros and nutrition and think, oh, this is stuff that everybody knows everything about. No, they already know what macros are. They don't. But a lot of people don't. So I just want to take a step back because, man, we talk about protein all the time, especially in the weight loss fitness industry. And I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of people who are like, hey, I had some protein this morning. I ate some oatmeal. And I'm like, oh, so that's carbohydrates. And it's like, so a lot of people, number one, they don't understand the impact, the role that protein plays in our body and how important it is. And so I just came off a TV segment where it was a full display of all the different lean proteins that are out there that we can incorporate into our diet. So let's take a quick step back. Okay. What is protein? You know,
protein bars right here.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, I do. So protein it's one of the main 3 macronutrients. Macro, of course, meaning large. There's macros, and then micronutrients would be your vitamins and your minerals, your fiber, your cholesterol, your sodium, all those other things. So macronutrients, it's proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And anytime that you eat, it's typically going to be a combination of those 3 macronutrients: proteins, carbs, and fats. And they all play such a beautiful, unique role in the body. Now, proteins, when we consume proteins, so let's talk about them really quick. Proteins they're all broken down into amino acids, right? And there are 20 or so amino acids, and they make up all these different combinations to form everything that you see on your body. Your hair, your nails, your skin, your eyeballs, your muscles, everything you see on me is made of protein. Everything you see on you is made of protein, right? And so,
like peanut butter protein, or
so, and we're gonna get to
Oikos protein.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Do a little bit of Oikos, maybe a little bit of chicken, maybe some beef jerky. So, but that's it. And when you actually look at your protein, when you look at your chicken or your Greek yogurt, all of that, that's actually, if you break it all down into these little building blocks called amino acids, that's what creates everything. And so there's 10,000 different combinations of these amino acids that makes us, but they also make our hormones. They make some of our neurotransmitters. They make all these different things, like these chemical messengers, these signals within us as well. And so it's like protein is necessary. And so there's also, but the beauty of protein also is that when it comes to the macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats, protein is, and there's a reason why all of the really successful weight loss diets out there, they all have you eating a significant amount of protein.
I was going to say, I've heard that before.
With the exception of keto, but that's a world unto itself. But they all have you eating a significant amount of protein. And why? Because protein is the most immediately satiating macronutrient of all of them. So when they bump up satiating, which means it makes you feel full, it sends an immediate full signal to your brain in a very short amount of time. And so that's why so many of them are effective, because look, any diet that's going to have you at a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. Doesn't matter if it's low fat, doesn't matter if it's low carb, doesn't matter. As long as you're at a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. The key is going to be finding one that's going to make you feel satiated. So you're going to feel full and you're not experiencing hunger and cravings, because that's a battle that you'll never win. right? And so it's like, okay, how am I going to do this? And also that it's somewhat enjoyable. So because at the same time, it's like you can't grind through it for a long period of time. And so the more protein that you can consume in your diet, you are much less likely to overconsume other foods, which would then put you into a calorie surplus. So it's a win. It's always good math to try to add more and more protein to your diet because it's going to make you feel fuller longer. It's gonna fill you up faster and make you feel fuller longer because it also takes a long time to break down. It's kind of like brakes on your food. So it slows everything down when you're actually trying to digest the food. So it's gonna, again, you're simply gonna feel much more satisfied for a longer period of time. On top of that, when your body breaks protein down into amino acids, just the process of trying, say you've eaten too much and you're in a surplus, and your body has to try to convert that into body fat. Boy, it takes a lot of energy to try to convert it. It takes a ton of energy, whereas your body that takes nothing to convert dietary fat into body fat. Carbohydrates, it's a minimal conversion in the liver. Protein takes a ton of energy to try to convert it. So it's going to be the most forgiving macronutrient to overeat because you'll actually burn a significant amount of calories simply trying to convert it before it can even convert it into body fat.
Andrea got a question on the screen. It says, how many calories should you take in daily to be at a calorie deficit? What's the lowest you can consume? I'm sure it's different for everybody, but is there a general rule of thumb?
Yeah. So check this out. And this, it's not a shameless plug, but I'm just going to help you out. You can actually go to a calorie calculator. You can look up any calorie calculator.
Don't you have one?
I've got one. Yeah. If you just go to chrispowell.com, I've got a calorie calculator on there. Or if you go to the transformapp.com, we've got a calorie calculator on there. You can just go on there. You're going to enter in your age, your weight, your height, your gender, and your activity levels. It's going to give you a rough estimate of how many calories your body burns. We just call it your number. So everyone's different based on those variables: age, weight, height, gender, and activity levels. A really safe deficit, just a safe deficit, would be about 500 calories a day. And just roughly speaking, it would equate to about 3,500 calories a week. And that is approximately about a pound of fat. Approximately. Again, these numbers, there are so many variables involved, and it's not exact at all. But those are just very safe numbers there. And also a 500 calorie deficit can be somewhat of a comfortable deficit for a lot of people. However, others might do better with a 250 calorie deficit. Others might be, especially if you're larger, and if say you're 300, 400, 500 pounds, you could handle a 700 or 1,000 calorie deficit. However, it's really important though, and I have to note this, that women, you're not going to consume fewer than 1,200 calories because then we can actually cause some metabolic disruption, some hormonal disruption, etc.
Well, she said I'm at 13, and I'm worried that's low.
That's really low. That's really low. So you don't want to go. You definitely don't want to cross that 1,200 line.
Okay.
However, when it comes to those 1,300 calories, if you're still finding yourself, hungry and experiencing hunger and cravings, if you can try to bump up your protein a little bit, it can really help out. It's a wonderful tool in the process. Now, there's a couple exceptions because a lot of people say, well, how much protein is too much? Now, the RDA, recommended daily allowance from the FDA, they're going to say, okay, for a minimal amount of protein that your body needs to consume every single day, it's about 0.35 grams per pound. So it's about 1/3 of a gram for every pound. But that's extremely low. That's for a sedentary adult, and that's to prevent a deficiency where your body is actually not consuming enough protein to even function. And so, but on the flip side, on the other end of the spectrum, a lot of professionals and individuals, and even a lot of literature will say, well, you can consume upwards of 35% to even 40%, which can be on the high end, but you can consume that much protein in a day. However, the one population of people that they say it's really important that you're not going to be consuming that much protein is anyone who's got a predisposed or if they're predisposed to kidney issues, or of course, if you do have a kidney condition, then it's very important. You're going to have to talk to your doctor about any kind of protein consumption. But yeah, so the thing is, the range is wide. The more you consume, and if you are at a calorie deficit and you're experiencing hunger and cravings, if you can start to increase that protein consumption, it can really start to stave off those hunger and cravings and put you in a decent place so that you're not being drawn and driven to consume more carbohydrates and fats. So you can have a ton of fun with this. Stacy was asking, how do I feel about Greek yogurt? I'm a huge fan. I love Greek yogurt. And I just love the creaminess. I love my latest thing is actually mixing blueberries in with Greek yogurt.
Really?
Oh, it's so good. Yes. So yeah, no, I'm all for it. So yeah, knock yourself out. Enjoy that Greek yogurt. I'm big on dairy sources, but I know a lot of people out there aren't, whether you're lactose sensitive or milk protein sensitive. So,
Minus belly weight, man. I just wish that I could get rid of the last few pounds of belly weight.
okay. Well,
I feel like I need one of those old machines in the 50s where it shakes you really fast.
yeah.
That's what I feel like I need.
Well, so here's the thing, man. You know, there's this saying, abs are made in the kitchen. And it is going to come down to that calorie deficit that we were just talking about. Yes.
More protein.
Yes. Yeah. I'm telling you, it can make a big difference. And the thing is, you're back in the gym. You're working out.
Right,
so the thing is, you're breaking down your muscles. By the way, you know, we talked about the RDA. That's for a sedentary individual. The more and as we get older, the FDA even says you have to consume more protein because we're going to experience something called sarcopenia, because as your hormones start to drop, you're going to be prone to losing muscle. That's what sarcopenia is. And we have to consume more protein to prevent wasting of that muscle. So for me, it's common to consume a gram for every pound that I weigh. So I'm consuming 180 to 190 grams a day. And again, but it's wonderful for me because I feel full for most of the day.
Yeah, I'll bet you do.
And it could work out for so many other people. To get rid of that belly fat, though, it's going to be consistency, calorie deficit, keep lifting those weights. We can talk about a lot of other things, your sleep, your water, all those different things. But the thing is, once you just fine tune a few of those things, you just kind of set it in course and let it ride.
Okay.
And then change course a little bit, let it ride.
Yeah, I feel like it's getting there. It's just not as quick as I want, and whatever. Never is, right?
No.
Preaching to the choir.
Give yourself some grace and just understand your body's going to move in slow motion. Appreciate it for the amazing machine that it is.
All right.
And just and again, put it in motion. Make tiny little corrections every few weeks. Don't chase it at all, and eventually you'll get to where you want to go.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
I needed that. I needed that.
I believe in you, and I believe in all of you.
Amazing, guys. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the live recording. This episode will be out in just a few weeks for you guys to enjoy. Next week, we're going to talk about crazy jobs. I've got kind of an interesting in and out story, and I'm wondering if I should boycott my son from something. I'll get your advice on that. And next week's deep dive, we're going to talk about how to tackle gyms from a different kind of entry level. What do you mean when you say that?
We're talking home gyms.
Oh, home gyms.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, if you kind of want to like, just if you're dabbling in the fitness journey and you want to start building out your home gym, I figured like, let's talk about just a few of the things you can get for under $100. And if you got a little bit more of a budget, maybe under $300. And then if you're a little more of a budget, maybe what you would get for under $500 or $600.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see everybody next week on our I Needed That podcast. Have a great week. Thank you, friends, for being a part of that. Did you enjoy watching the podcast? Is there any more questions that we can answer before we go, Chris? Maybe.
Yeah. I see a few
Let's
of them.
See here. What do you want me to hit? Daylight fat burns 2 calories per hour. A muscle burns 6 calories. Holy smokes, that's really done. I didn't realize that we can drill down that much.
Yeah, I'm not sure about fat burning 2 calories per hour. That's definitely something I would need to look into. I do know. I mean, muscle is the most metabolically active tissue on the body. And so as far as getting like the amount per hour, I don't know the answer to that, but it's something that those are some fascinating numbers. And if those are true, I would love to grab those because those are definitely numbers to share. So, but thank you for bringing that to my attention, because that would be amazing if those are true.
What about Magali, who says, shall we eat protein and carbs in the same meal, or is it better to eat one meal with protein and the other with carbs?
So Magali, great question. And so the whole thing about combining macronutrients, there's like a whole practice behind that about combining your proteins and your fats, or your proteins and your carbs. And typically in the meal combining world, there's a whole thing about separating your proteins and your carbs. Here's the thing though. I think we're really starting to get, perhaps you might want to talk to your doctor about that, especially if you have some sort of like digestive issues. That might be a problem. But at the same time, if you're simply just looking for overall weight loss, it actually doesn't matter. It's going to be your overall consumption over a 24-hour period. But again, if there's some sort of weird food sensitivity that you have and you're trying to prevent some digestive issues, chat with your doctor about that, because I think there could be some truth to the whole meal like macro combining concept. I've played around with it a little bit myself, especially combining proteins and fats and then eating carbs separately. And it was actually really like my own personal experience was that it was very pleasant on my gut. So I hope, definitely do some research there, chat with your physician, and kind of see where that takes you.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your afternoon, or I guess it's almost into the evening on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Time flies.
I will never get used to that 3-hour change. I don't know. We got to figure that out. We need to be like the left coast and the right coast.
Yes.
And 2 time zones in America. Make it easy.
I know, right?
Crazy. All right. Thank you for being a part of it, guys. See you next week.
See you guys.